Hey there, welcome to Studio 5. This week we're focusing on true stories that have inspired some powerful films. Actor Mark Walberg, cast members of The Chosen, and actor and singer Dennis Quaid are all here to take us inside these real-life stories. But before we get to them, we want to begin our weekly countdown of the top 5 stories in the world of uplifting entertainment. Here are your first 2.
At number 5.
There's got to be some sort of misunderstanding here.
A quick sneak peek at Kung Fu Panda 4.
Come and get it. No, don't come and get it.
With a word from some of the cast before it hits theaters Friday.
I wanted to play a villain. I did. I mean, I can only play a villain in my imagination. I tried to play a villain at home. It doesn't work. No one believes it.
At number 4.
My followers won't understand. The Son of Man must suffer many things. But you are the Son of God.
The Chosen, the popular series about the life of Jesus Christ, is reaching beyond Christian viewers. The Chosen VP, Catherine Warnock, shares this. A new survey reveals about 1/3 of those who regularly watch The Chosen are not Christians. Warnock told Christian Headlines about 30% of viewers are simply curious about Christianity, including some who have no Christian faith at all. She also said they're pleasantly surprised more younger viewers are watching the show than expected. Is this season more emotional than the previous 3? Yeah. Is what I'm venturing. I watched it all by myself, but so.
I would say so, but also there's a lot of action too.
It's a lot of action. I'd say that the season is real dynamic, you know, because we explore like very sweet things and we explore some very deep, hard waters as well.
I know it's hard. Man makes it much harder.
And those are just the first 2 stories in this week's countdown. Stay tuned for the remaining 3 throughout the rest of today's show. Now to a Studio 5 first look at the film Arthur the King. It's described as an unexpected encounter, an unlikely bond, and an unforgettable adventure. Based on the true story of an adventure racer who finds a dog while on a comeback race of endurance. Actor Mark Walberg is in the starring role and also serves as a producer in this film.
We all know anything can happen out there. Sometimes we feel lost. We push and we suffer. We keep going. That makes all the difference.
Where did you first come to this story?
ESPN doc. I knew nothing about adventure racing and obviously knew nothing about Michael and Arthur's journey together. And I just thought, wow, we make for a great film.
Hey, what happened to you, boy? You don't look so good. Meatball? Look, somebody likes my meatballs. Hey, Paw Patrol, we got a race to win.
Tell me, what type of work went into preparing for this role physically?
While we were on bikes and zip lines and running and climbing.
He must have wings we don't know about.
Oh, boy.
I wanted to look like an adventure racer, so I started training, cycling, rowing, kayaking, hiking, climbing, things of that nature, and nothing could really prepare me for what these guys do. It's not so much the physical preparation, really is the toughness. The people who are never going to quit, never give up, and just get stronger as things get more difficult and challenging. It's a very unique individual that does this kind of, competitive sport.
Just remember, Michael, this race doesn't define you.
I raced for 19 years. This is my last chance to win.
3, 2, 1.
So we're talking 10 days, 435 miles. What's motivating Michael?
His desire to prove everybody wrong and finally win a world championship.
Over the next 10 days, these athletes will cross 400 miles climbing, biking, and kayaking.
That dot is Daddy.
Go, Daddy, Dot.
And he was willing to sacrifice anything and anybody to achieve that goal. And then all of a sudden, the guy who was probably one of the most selfish individuals I've ever witnessed has now done the most selfless thing and thrown the race when it was right there in his grasp to save Arthur.
Let's talk and get the meatballs to 3 days, 200 miles ago. Leave the stupid dog and let's go, come on.
How would you describe that relationship, that bond between the two?
It's just something, I think Arthur chose him. It's one of those things where He was out there, he kind of tried to shoo him away with a meatball, and the dog nobody had ever done anything nice to the dog. And that dog just followed him and said, no, well, we're gonna be together.
Daddy has a dog?
What have you done?
I think you found a new partner in suffering, Michael. Yeah, he's the king. I think we should call him Arthur. Arthur the King.
Arthur the King hits theaters nationwide on Friday, March 15th.
Still to come.
What if the chameleon knows we're coming? Or she could be anywhere. Anyone.
Lee, would you please show a little backbone?
I'm sorry.
The Kung Fu Panda franchise grows with a 4th installment, and we're headed to Universal Studios Hollywood for a Studio 5 exclusive sit-down with the stars Jack Black and Awkwafina. Did you always want to be a dragon warrior?
Oh, man. I mean, who doesn't?
At number 3.
Some of the biggest names in Hollywood getting ready for the Oscars, and that includes first-time nominee Sterling K. Brown. He's up for Best Supporting Actor for his role as the chaotic brother in American Fiction. And he tells me when it comes to who's going with them Sunday night, there's no chaos.
It's gonna be the wife.
You can catch him and all the other nominees Sunday night on ABC. The show this year starting an hour earlier than usual.
At number 2.
Woven with purpose that I can't explain.
It's Anthony Evans and new music.
This is my thank you. This is I love you.
The singer and songwriter has a timely project called Revive.
Till my heart believes, I won't stop saying you're good to me.
You've now got a new single out that's sort of introducing us to the new project. Even If is the new song.
Even If is a song that was birthed out of the loss of our mom, like the tragic loss of our mom, which was on the heels of losing 8 other family members. And there came a point in my life and my career where I had to make a decision. Do you really, at this point, with the new level of things that are going wrong in life, do you believe what you are singing? And that's why it was the hardest song my heart had to sing, because I made a choice that, God, you have tragically taken some people from our lives, including our mother, and I'm still going to worship you in spite of that. But that was not an easy conclusion to come to.
Even if I have to wait for you to mend the heartbreak and believe that every tear that falls to you.
Welcome back to Studio 5. We've taken flight from our studios to a soundstage here at Universal Studios Hollywood for an exclusive sit-down with the leading man behind Kung Fu Panda, Po. It's Jack Black and a new dragon warrior joining the franchise for the 4th installment of the wildly popular series.
Exterior, misty chasm, night. I like to read all of the stage directions. It gets me in the zone.
Being the Dragon Warrior, it's who I am. Skadoosh. What do I know about being a spiritual leader?
What is it you're holding? A cookie? You were chosen to become something more than you already are.
Jack, this all started for you in 2008. Did you think in 2024 we'd still be talking about Poe and watching movies?
Dude, honestly, every time I get a job, I think this is going to be the last job I ever have.
You finally met your match, chameleon.
We're not so different, you and I.
Skadoosh.
Skadoosh. So when it became a phenomenon and a huge hit, you know, I was overjoyed. That's the good thing about being a negative person, is you're always blown away by anything successful. So yeah, no. The answer is no. I did not imagine in my wildest dreams that we would be here.
Kai Lung, big fan. Once I possess the kung fu of every master villain, no one will dare question my power.
Not even the great Dragon Warrior.
Awkwafina, did you always want to be a dragon warrior?
Oh, man. I mean, who doesn't, right?
Who's that?
The most powerful shape-shifting sorceress, the chameleon. Skablam!
Sorry to interrupt. I think you meant skadoosh.
I'm such a fan of the franchise, so it felt really, really
cool to just to be asked to be in it, and you're working alongside, even in an animation sense, like characters that you've loved. So that's a cool feeling. Home sweet home. The best crooks and criminals live here.
You're a wanted criminal?
You sound surprised. Is it surprising? The chameleon wants to become the world's greatest villain by defeating the world's greatest hero.
Jack, how did you feel about this story? What's special about it compared to the others, you think?
I think the thing that I love about this movie most of all is it's kind of a buddy comedy. And none of the other Kung Fu Pandas have had that dynamic. And me and Awkwafina, Po, and the fox, Zhen, go on this incredible journey. And there's so many twists and turns that you don't see coming, not just on the adventure, but also between each other and finding out different things about each other along the way. It made incredible dynamic. It made it maybe my favorite Kung Fu Panda of all times.
You will advance to spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace.
Where is your own personal Valley of Peace? Where is it at?
Oh.
It's always, for me personally, right at home in a nice staycation. Any other vacation, wherever I go, I always feel a little stressed. There's no place like home.
That is awesome! Skadoosh!
And you don't have to wait long to see this new film. Kung Fu Panda 4 is in theaters this Friday, March 8th.
We need to take a quick break, but before we do, it's time to share this week's story in pictures. Here's your Studio 5 Snapshot this week.
It's 13 and out for Philadelphia Eagles' Jason Kelce, who left the building announcing his retirement this week. There wasn't a dry eye in the room for those in attendance to hear his parting words, including his now globally famous brother and fellow NFL player Travis. It's a career that's included a Super Bowl win in 2018 and a Super Bowl loss in 2023. That loss came to his brother's team. Jason Kelce is this week's Studio 5 Snapshot. Still to come, it's the true story of baseball player Ricky Hill.
Ricky, I've seen you out there swinging that stick, even when you're suffering pain.
We're taking a look at the film now popular on Netflix and sitting down with one of its stars, actor Dennis Quaid.
It's a father-son story, which I'm really attracted to doing. And he overcame a lot in life, and the two of them, wrestled.
At number 1.
Hey, what happened to you, boy? You don't look so good. Meatball? Look, somebody likes my meatballs. Hey, Paw Patrol, we got a race to win.
A Studio 5 closer look at Arthur the King before it hits theaters March 15th.
Just remember, Michael, this race doesn't define you.
I raced for 19 years. This is my last chance to win.
3, 2, 1.
The unexpected encounter, unlikely bond, and unforgettable adventure, all based on the true story of an adventure racer who finds a dog on the journey.
Over the next 10 days, these athletes will cross 400 miles climbing, biking, and kayaking.
That dot is Daddy.
Go, Daddy, Dot.
Mark Walberg is the film's star and producer. What type of work went into preparing for this role physically?
I just wanted to, anytime I'm playing, whether it be Marcus Luttrell and Lone Survivor, especially, real life people, true stories. Playing Mickey Ward in the movie, I wanted to look like a boxer. So I wanted to look like an adventure racer. So I started training, cycling, rowing, kayaking, hiking, climbing, things of that nature. And nothing could really prepare me for what these guys do. It's not so much the physical preparation, really is the toughness. The people who are never going to quit, never give up, and just get stronger as things get more difficult and challenging.
Let's talk and get the meatballs. 3 days, 200 miles ago.
Welcome back to Studio 5. The film The Hill is based on the real-life story of Ricky Hill, whose journey to Major League Baseball includes a serious limitation, a struggle to walk. It's now streaming on the Netflix platform, and it's doing quite well. Actor Dennis Quaid is one of the stars.
Tie game, bottom of the ninth. At bat, Ricky Hill.
Ricky, I've seen you out there swinging that stick, even when you're suffering pain. But you can't play baseball.
You seem to be busier now
Never. At 69, right?
That's because I still love it. I just really enjoy it. Probably because I'm not trying to get anywhere with it. You know, I'm not, as far as words or, you know, fame or money or whatever it is, I have the luxury of being, doing things because I love it. And, you know, that's the best there is. And God's been really great to me that way.
You're gonna get ridiculed, and you're gonna wind up with an injury that you'll never get over. God's gonna give you a higher calling.
The sports drama, The Hill, you play a pastor, father. What's the deal? Why did you want to do that?
Ricky Hill, who was, you know, a handicapped kid, had braces, and the guy could hit, and he has a very, his father was a preacher. Never saw him play baseball, and you know, he had a vision for his son that he was going to be a preacher. He felt like his son was called, but you know what a calling is for a preacher. You have to feel it yourself.
But all I want to do is play. When I swing that bat, I ain't crippled no more.
And gone, Senior Ricky Hill.
So it's a father-son story, which I'm really attracted to doing. And he overcame a lot in life, and the two of them, you know, wrestled. And that's, it has a great ending to it, though.
Son, you might be better, but you are not healed.
Your bones are rapidly depleting. It'll be a miracle if you ever walk again.
You seen this? Major League trials.
You're gonna paralyze him. I don't need you filling him full of false hope. He's my son.
So is this a story of faith, love, and second chances?
Yes, it is. Seems to be a theme in my life, and sometimes third and fourth and fifth.
Ricky, baseball had to end eventually. Time to figure out what you're gonna do with the rest of your life.
First time you ever talked to me like a man is to tell me to forget the only thing I ever loved.
My story is I grew up at in the Baptist Church, First Baptist Church in Bel Air. That's where I was in Houston, Texas. That's where I was baptized. I was 9 years old, and I think I started to get disillusioned with church. You know, I at around 12, 13 years old.
Oh, wow.
And my parents divorced as well, and I guess, you know, I started to look elsewhere, and I was a seeker. I went, you know, and to fill that hole that is left, that everybody has, and tries to fill with so many things, whether it be, you know, it was with accomplishments, it was with sex or drugs or rock and roll or whatever it is, and wound up getting involved with cocaine. And I had one of those white light experiences. I had spent so many nights screaming at God or begging God or whatever, just to get some sleep before the next day or to take this away from me. And I just saw myself either dead in 5 years or in jail or losing everything that I had. And so I checked myself into rehab the next day. That's when I read the Bible again, cover to cover.
Wow.
And that was the beginning of having a personal relationship with God and a personal Savior.
What's Dennis Quaid most grateful for now?
I'm still grateful to just be here. So grateful for for the joy in life, and I've had such a wonderful life, and I really thank God for that, for giving me the 6th and 7th chance.
How many miracles do you need?
I'm one of the best hitters you're ever going to see.
A bad leg could cost a team wins and money. All your hopes,
I cannot do this alone.
dreams,
It's your time, Ricky!
determination, and sacrifices have come down to this.
Again, The Hill is available on Netflix and other streaming platforms, performing quite well. Welcome back to Studio 5. Music helps us to bring you this show each and every week, and this week's soundtrack comes from Anthony Evans. Take a listen, and you'll hear why This Is My Thank You is what's playing in my ear this week.
Mama, I really hope you know you showed me what true love, what it's meant to be. You gave me everything. This is my thank you.
On that musical note, we are just about out of time for this week's edition of Studio 5. So let's take a quick look and see what's in store on next week's rundown.
I pray for your healing, the circumstances will change.
That's the voice of recording artist Katie Nicole, known for this hit song.
Jesus' name, I pray that a breakthrough would happen today.
In Jesus' Name is certainly unforgettable. Studio 5 caught up with the singer while on tour with the Winter Jam Fest, and she's got new music.
So how would you describe these last 2 years?
I would describe it as a whirlwind. I mean, it kind of has felt like a roller coaster ride. I mean, there's been so many highs and lows, and I mean, I've been very blessed. I feel like this year and last year just are a lot of dream come trues.
Be sure to join us for that story and so much more come next week. As for this week, we've got time left for just one more thing. We want to give the final word to Dennis Quaid.
About the loves of your lives, especially going back to 2007. You get twin sons and you nearly lose them.
Yeah, in the first 12 days. They had a staph infection that I probably got at birth, and developed over 12 days. And their blood was off the measurable scale as far as coagulation for 48 hours. It's a long time. And I really do believe, you know, it became a story that went out worldwide just like that. And I really do believe it was the power of prayer that really saved the kids. It really did.
Dennis Quaid, thank you. That's a great final word for this edition of Studio 5 and this week's look at uplifting entertainment. Until next time, make time to uplift someone around you, and then please come on back. See where Studio 5 takes you next week. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye, everybody.